Hello students, how are you? I hope you are fine. Students, today we will start our chapter 2, reproduction in flowering plants or reproduction in angiosperms. Students, in plants, the reproductive organ is the flower. In plants, the reproductive organ is the flower, in which the haploid gametes are produced, and these haploid gametes are transferred from the male gamete to the female gamete. Then subsequent fusion occurs. After fusion, fertilization takes place, and after fertilization, seeds are formed and fruit is formed. Flowers are formed in the axils of terminal axils of the leaves known as the brackets. Flowers are formed in the terminal axils of the leaf or stem is known as the bracket. Now, what is a flower? What is a flower? Flower is a condensed modified shoot, which helps in reproduction. Or you can say flower is the site of reproduction. Now we can discuss the various parts of a flower. Students, this is the VS of a flower. VS means vertical section of a flower. So many times you have drawn in your lower classes. We can start from here. This is the pedicel. With which the plant is attached to the stem. Next is the thalamus. Thalamus is also known as the receptacle over which other organs are rest. These are the sepals. Single, it is known as the sepal, both known as the calyx. Calyx is a bulb of leaf-like structures at the base of the flower near the thalamus. They are usually of green color. What is its function? It protects the flower in bud condition. Second, it helps in removing the excess water from the plant. Means it do not allow to remove the excess water from the plant. It just hold on the concentration of the flower. Sometimes it may be colored. Sometimes these sepals are colored. When they are colored, they attract the insect for pollination. But rarely they are colored. Almost they are green in color. Next are the petals. These are the petals. These 1, 2, and 3. These are the petals. Single petal. Complete bud is known as the corolla. Single is petal and complete bud is known as the corolla. These petals are always of various colors. Red, orange, pink, blue. Why they are of various colors? Because they protect the insect for pollination, and in some flowers they also give very sweet smell to make the flower attractive for bees. It means they help in pollination. After fertilization, these petals and sepals, they are wither away, means they fall down. Sometimes sepal may persist on the fruit. Sometimes sepal may persist on the fruit. Next, students, come to this point. This point. This is the female part of the flower. This is the female part of the flower. It consists of three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Stigma is a place where pollen from anther transfer here by the process of pollination. Here pollen start germinating by absorbing water and make a pollen tube. This pollen tube comes down up to the ovary. Okay? It is somewhat sticky. It is somewhat sticky to hold on the pollens. This part is known as the style. Style connects the stigma up to the ovary. This is known as the style. Here it is written as style. And this part is known as the ovary, which consists of ovules. Ovules turn into seeds after fertilization, and the whole ovary becomes the fruit. This whole part that consists of stigma, style, and ovary is known as the gynoecium. Means female part. Gynoecium, or we can say carp. Next, come to this part. This is the male part of the flower, that is known as stamen. It consists of anther, filament. Filament attaches the anther to the ovary. And this is anther. Anther looks bilobed from outside. Anther looks bilobed means two lobes looking from outside, but actually it has four lobes. It has four lobes like this. All these four lobes are separated from each other. All these four lobes are separated from each other. Here the vascular system is present. And these are the four lobes. From outside we can see bifurcation in these lobes. From outside. Pollen grains are formed in these anthers, and the pollen grains transferred from here to here by the process of pollination with the help of insects, or with the help of wind, or with the help of birds. These are the parts of the flower. I hope you all are understand. I can repeat. Pedicel that attaches flower to the plant. Thalamus or receptacle that holds the whole organs on the plants. These are the sepals that protect the flower in bud condition, or it may not allow excess of transpiration of the flowers. This is the female part known as the gynoecium, consisting of stigma, style, and ovary. Inside the ovary, ovules are present. These are the petals. They are of variously colored that are attracting insects for pollination. Collectively, these petals are known as the corolla. This is the male part known as stamen, or we can call androecium. It consists of anther and filament. Filament connect the anther to the ovary. Okay. Now, what are the functions of the flower? Collectively, the functions of the flower. Functions of flower. 1. It is a reproductive bud. That helps in reproduction. Okay. Second, it helps in pollination of pollen grains. It helps in pollination of pollen grains. from male part to the female part. Third, it helps in formation of seeds and fruits. Okay, it helps in formation of seeds and fruits. Now this is the structure of the flower and these are its functions. Next we will discuss about the microsporogenesis. Next we will discuss about the microsporogenesis. And before discussing the microsporogenesis, you must know about the microsporophylls. Microsporophylls. These are known as the stamens. Stamens are leaf-like structures that are formed inside the flower, and each stamen consists of a thread-like filament. This is the thread-like filament. It is known as the filament, and it consists of a two-lobed anther. This is the anther where microsporophylls or the pollen grains are formed. Here the pollen grains are formed, or we can say the microsporogenesis occurs here inside it. From outside it looks like two chambers. From outside it looks like two chambers, but at the maturity, this is a deep fissure groove looks from outside. At maturity, these two chambers become one chamber. This wall is dissolved at maturity and it becomes one chambered anther, and that condition is known as thickness. In majority of the plants, this condition occurs, but in plants, for example, plants that belong to Malvaceae family. Malvaceae, for example, China rose. China rose belongs to Malvaceae family. So what happens in this condition? In this condition, there is four chambers. There are four chambers, but during maturity, these four chambers convert into a two chambers by dissolving the internal walls. Internal septa dissolves and it becomes two chambers. That condition is known as dithecus. Thecus, one chamber, dithecus, two chamber. Actually, in the starting, when the microsporogenesis starts, it is internally of four chambers with a group of small tissues that belongs to the vascular. A very young anther consists of two lobes. And it has actively dividing meristematic cells that give rise to the anthers or pollens or sporogenesis tissue. Here, this is the young anther. From outside, it looks like the bilobed, but with the development, it becomes four-lobed inside. The outer layer is the epidermis. This is epithecum. This is tapetum. These are microspore mother cells. Listen. The formation of sporogenesis or the formation of spores starts from the internal layer of the archisporial cells. Here itself इसके जो अपने आप के जो सेल्स हैं इन्हीं को ही हम आर्किस्पोरियल सेल्स कहेंगे इसके बीच में। स्टार्टिंग में ये सब कुछ भी डिफरेंशिएटेड नहीं होता है, लेकिन as soon as it starts maturing, some of the cells from inside starts behaving as archisporial cells, and these archisporial cells divided by periclinal divisions. Divided by periclinal divisions give rise to the parietal cells. Parietal cells. Again, these parietal cells divided by periclinal divisions and anticlinal divisions. And anticlinal divisions give rise to the parietal microspore mother cells, or we can say MMC. Here, the outer layer differentiated itself from the other layer and starts behaving as epidermis. And after the epidermis, second layer, it starts behaving as epithelium. It's slightly different from the epidermis. And a layer of tapetum is formed by the periclinal divisions. This layer tapetum, and this tapetum functions as a nourishing layer for the development of sporogenesis or MMCs. And in between the tapetum, the microspore mother cells are formed that develop into the microspores, or that develop into the sporogenesis tissue. This process also occurs in these all four corners. Here, somewhat vascular bundle is present. This is also occurs in all the four chambers. And some of the microspore mother cells degenerate. Some of the microspore mother cells from here degenerate, and some are making interconnection, cytoplasmic interconnection with each other. As with the development, they develop a internal layer or known as callus. With the development, they develop an internal layer known as the callus. These callus break the cytoplasmic interconnections with each other. These callus break the cytoplasmic interconnections. When cytoplasmic interconnections will break up, then each cell divides by the process of meiosis. Divided by the process of meiosis into a tetrad. Tetrad means 4 haploid cells, and these 4 haploid cells arrange itself in different ways. This is isobilateral, or T-shape, or dithecal, like this. And these 4 nuclei are: next shape, linear. These 4 are arranged in a linear shape. It is known as linear. Next one is tetrad. This is tetrad. With this, the process of microsporogenesis is completed, and in the next session we will discuss about the dehiscence of pollen grains and the structure of the pollen grains. Thank you and have a nice day.